Hello and good morning, goddesses. Hope this filter is okay. So I am here live this morning on a topic that is so fun and dear to my heart, of creating transformational curriculum for your retreats, for your courses, your workshops, whatever it is that you're creating that you want to bring your people through. So this is the space where I'm going to teach you kind of the back thinking around my different courses and retreats. So I'm Ashley Sunshine. I have led 6 different yoga teacher trainings. One of the graduates is in this, one of the graduate classes in this picture right here. I've also completed a round of Sacred Business Codes, my 6-month business training, and in the next 2 weeks we begin the second round, which is a 9-month journey. If you're here and you want to say hello, I'd be love to tune in to who's joining live, or if you're on the replay, go ahead and comment replay and just know that you're tuning in. I recommend that you have a journal and a pen, and if you have a candle and you want to light up a candle, because if you know me, you know that everything I do is guided and connected to spirit and intention. So I've guided 6 yoga teacher trainings, Sacred Business Codes, as well as over 18 retreats that I've led or co-led. And so I'm bringing you all this experience that I've had and all this knowledge that I've gathered over the years and sharing it with you. So hopefully you can create amazing transformational curriculums without all the trial and error that I had to go through. So this is kind of a taster, an intensive 1 hour where we'll go into lots of information, lots of details. You'll reflect on what it is that you're wanting to birth. And if you want more support in birthing your programs, your curriculums, the 9-month Sacred Business Codes container could be amazing for that. And I also offer intimate one-on-one support. So as we get started, I just want to invite you to get into your body, because being in the body and being connected to our Shakti is really important for this creative process of creating curriculum. So go ahead and get grounded in your hips, get grounded in your belly. Hi, Shani. Okay, good. Yeah, catch up with us later. I'll send you the replay. I know that you've signed up, and if you want to sign up for the replays, it's ashleysunshine.com/revolution, and I'll send you all the replays and everything. So, all right, go ahead and roll your pelvis forward and back a little bit, really feeling the pelvic bowl, and start to breathe deep into your low belly, into your low back. Nice deep breaths in and out, just beginning to drop your awareness into your body. Activate the breath. And feeling into your movement, into your energy field. So welcome if you're joining. We're getting grounded into the body. And welcoming in the Shakti energy, welcoming in your divine feminine, your inspiration, your creativity, your pleasure, your joy, your sensuality and sensitivity. Just take another couple deep breaths, and maybe take your arms up. I like to take the Kali Mudra with my hands and the fingers reaching towards the sky, and then making circles with my fingers up towards the sky. That really just opens up the heart, the shoulders, the upper back, and the hips and the low back. The breath. And if you went in one direction, just go in the other direction for a few moments. And then reaching straight up, turn your palms outward as you release your hands, and inhale. And exhale, opening your 8th chakra, opening your spirit space. Welcoming in your higher self to be present with you during this next hour. Welcoming spirit to run through you. Welcoming in your guides and angels to form a circle around you of protection and empowerment, that you are guided into your next level of creating curriculum for your people, for your clients or future clients. And that whatever comes through today will be the highest service to you and your soul's mission. May this conversation, may this session be uplifting to all of those who even so much as open this video for a moment. And taking one more deep breath, bringing love into your heart, bringing love into this moment. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and open your hands. And welcome back. Okay, so there's a few really important steps in creating curricula. And there's also some really important things to understand about yourself. So I'm just going to say right off the bat that getting a birth chart reading and getting a human design reading, so understanding what's your human design profile and what is your moon, sun, and rising sign, will really help you understand how you function, because everyone is going to create curriculum slightly differently. And everyone's going to have different inspiration around, what they want to create and how they want to create it. So by getting to know yourself in terms of your astrology chart and also your human design, you'll get more insight on what it is that helps trigger your inspiration and what it is that helps trigger your creative process, okay? So, ways to know what you would like to offer. I'm a projector. So for someone like me who's a projector, I really need other people's input. So I need, someone to tell me, hey, Ashley, I really love what you did. I would love to learn more about that. And this is actually how I began my teacher trainings. I was teaching yoga in Tel Aviv. I loved teaching yoga. So I knew that that's what I loved doing. It wasn't making me great money. It was making me hustle all around the city. It wasn't providing an incredible lifestyle, but I did love actually teaching. So I just taught and taught and taught. And then one day I had a few students come up to me and say, hey, Ash, when are you opening your yoga teacher training? Because I want to learn how to teach yoga from you. And this is what sparked me to begin the process of creating my first solid, really unique curriculum. And the thing is that no curriculum will be 100% unique, right? We all are feeding off each other and we all come off of one mind. And it's really okay to borrow concepts and to, not reinvent the wheel. And specifically with a yoga teacher training, it's a set 200-hour program with the Yoga Alliance. So I had guidance on how to structure this, the content, less of how to structure the actual program, but what content to put in, what content is required from me. But even there, in the 200-hour Yoga Alliance teacher training, I still had a lot of wiggle room, right? I have topics that I need to cover. I have half of the course I can pretty much make up my own topics, and the rest of the time, I have to choose when to put what and how, right? When and how to enter in what it is that I want my students to learn. Okay, I'm just going to make the light a little bit less bright. I think that's better. All right, so ways to know what it is that you want to offer. So whether you want to offer a teacher training, or you want to offer a retreat, or you want to offer a 6-week mini course, you want to offer a one-off workshop, right? You have basically a huge menu of different things that you could offer. And so you want to ask yourself, okay, what is it that I want to offer? And how do I understand what is it that I want to offer? So first of all, asking yourself the question, what excites you? What are you excited about right now? What is piquing your interest? What's that thing that like you keep searching on Google or you want to watch more YouTube videos on, or that thing that you've been journaling about a lot lately, or what you've been having, conversations with good friends and colleagues about, right? So this is like taking assessment of your mind and where you're at right now in this moment. What's been exciting you? What's been turning you on? What's been piquing your interest? Also, what have other people done that's been exciting you, right? Like, do you have any inspirational mentors in your field that are doing really cool stuff? And is that inspiring you? And it is really 100% okay to be inspired by others and kind of play, copycat, not copying, copyright. We don't want to do that. We want to be unique and individual. But, if somebody does something and that really ignites something within you, like, go for it. Yeah, go for it with love, care, and consideration. Go for it with finding your own unique voice. But allow yourself to be inspired by other people who are doing stuff that makes you excited. What someone's asking of you. So your friends call you for advice, right? Your family members call you for advice. You have people that really want to have you host something and they keep telling you, hey, why don't you host this thing? Why don't you host this thing? So for projectors like me, that's like super helpful. If someone says to me, Ash, I love what you're doing, let's go for it. Like that could be the straw that I need in order to move forward with what with that thing. What you've already gone through. So you can look back at yourself 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago and think, okay, what's the journey that I've been on in the last 2 to 5 years? And how can I kind of help people accelerate that process, right? What's the process that I've been through in the last 5 years? And how can I create a program that's going to accelerate the process? What have I been through and how much have I grown and how have I changed over these last years? And as you reflect on that, you realize that you're actually perfectly suited to create that program because that is exactly what you've been through. And it's what we've been through. It's the medicine that we drank that is the medicine that we are most equipped to give, right? It's the healing that we've done with ourselves that we are the most equipped to then share with others. What you could wake up at 3 a.m. to speak about. So if you have a journal with you, this is a really good question to ask yourself. If I were to come to you at 3 a.m. and wake you up and be like, okay, you need to do a 1-hour lecture right now, what would that lecture be? Wake you up 3 a.m., you just got to start talking. What are you going to talk about? And this is an incredible, incredible question because this leads me to the next point, which is you don't want to create a curriculum on something that you need to do a lot of research about. You don't want your curriculum creation to be a lot of research. We have this old business paradigm around marketing and that we need to do all this marketing research so that we understand that what we're bringing fits and that people want it and that it's going to be profitable. I'm telling you, throw that out the window, especially in the beginning. Later on, once you get your content refined and once you have, deeper things that that you want to do, then you can look into the market and see, okay, how can I angle this to fit and make good money off of it? Right? But you shouldn't need to do any research to come up with the bare bones of your curriculum. So if you find yourself getting stuck in this loop of like, okay, I got to do research, I got to prepare, then you're dealing with something that you're probably not so grounded in. Or you're operating too much from the mind and you're not trusting yourself and your soul enough. But I want to let you know that you've been through lifetimes of training, and even in this lifetime, you've gone through so many initiations and so much training already that you're ready. And especially if you're watching this, if you're tuning in live or on the replay, and you already have within you whatever it is that you need in order to create a transformational curriculum. So just do it, right? And I'll talk in a little bit about leaving room for soul, because that's really, really important. And we'll talk about trusting yourself, leaving room for soul in your curriculums. Okay, finally, a really good idea is using oracle cards. Going into meditation, doing your Kundalini yoga, or whatever it is that grounds you into your Shakti, into your energy field. Anything that you need to do to clear out other people's opinions, other people's judgments of you, your own judgments of yourself, and come into the space of love. And from that space is where you want to be creating your curriculums from. So if you are in that space and you get out your favorite oracle card deck, this session that you do with yourself can and will help you create that curriculum. This is the method that I use for most of my retreats, and it's the method that me and the Red Tent Tribe team have used to create our super powerful, legendary Red Tent retreats. And we literally used oracle cards, right? We literally got together, created an energy field, tapped into our intention, tapped into the vision, and felt palpable, energy between us, and then opened the cards, right? And each card just revealed to us, another puzzle piece. So you are magic, and you don't need to do this without your magic, right? And as a projector, which I am, which I'd love to know if you're watching, what's your human design? Where are you tuning in from? What's your human design? And what's your astrology if you have that as well? Because that's really, really helpful stuff to understand your specific creative process. So once you start to tune into what it is that you want to offer to your people, then a lot of more things need to come, right? You need to understand the name. And this might come in the beginning, this might come in the end. You need to understand also the tagline. So who is it that you're serving? Who is the person that you want to offer this to? Who is the person that you want to transform their life? And this is going to help you create the title and the tagline for your offering. Now, this is something that I would suggest you do later, so I'm only going to touch on that really briefly and say that, I'd rather you get into the process of what are the results that I want to give to my people, and what is the experience that I want to have? And then from there you can, or when you're out in nature, it will just kind of come through. So you are the vessel for spirit to work through you and create transformation for others. Okay? And so you actually can tap into your channeling abilities and channel this entire program from a place of meditation and connection and intention. So the next important question is, what is your intention for this curriculum? What are the results that you would like to give your people? Now, those can be thought of as two of the same, intention and results, and they can also be two different things. So it's an important process to think about, what's my intention for this? What do I want to create with this? And then what are the results that I want to bring to my people? Okay? So, for example, my yoga teacher training. It's a very easy example because I've done 6 of these programs, so I'm just going to riff on that. And if you're tuning in, what's your human design? Where are you tuning in from? I don't know if I can see the comments. So, we're going to go for another about half an hour here in our curriculum creation masterclass. So in my yoga teacher trainings, my intention was to bring the next generation of spiritual leaders to the world, right? My intention was to initiate and empower spiritual leaders through the medium of teaching yoga. All right, so my intention is that I want to empower you to be a leader. And my results is that you can give a effective, intelligent 1-hour yoga class to a one-on-one or to a group. Okay? So intention and results. Intention is more kind of spiritual, it's more esoteric, and results are like very, very tangible. But they're obviously very, very related. So what are the results that you want to achieve? What are the results that you want for your people? So if you're here and you just want to write that down, I want to give a little bit of space. And if you're tuning in, I'd love to hear, if you were to create a curriculum, and you know what you want to do, if you want to make a retreat, or you want to do a training, or you want to run a workshop. And, all of this could change. So we need to be dynamic. We need to be allowing for spirit to come through, because we could get attached to an idea in our mind of, I want to make a workshop, right? And then you start understanding the results, and you start understanding, and then spirit comes through and it's like, hey, wait, that's actually better for a retreat. Or, hey, wait, that's actually better for like a 6-week course. Maybe you want to do like a taster workshop, and then this result is actually going to be achieved in like a 6-week program, right? So you want to understand what you want to do, but then don't be attached to it, because as you go through the process of creating your curriculum, spirit will speak to you. And that's what happens in the creative process. We're tuning in to the infinite creative source. We're tuning into a space where there's just unlimited creativity and information and diversity and beauty. So the possibilities are infinite. And you could have one topic where you create all 3 of those, right? You have a workshop, a retreat, and a course on all 3. And I've done that too, right? I have yoga classes, I have yoga workshops, and I have yoga courses. All right. So after you know what results you'd like to achieve and what your intention is, then you want to understand the big picture. What is needed in order to create the results that you want to achieve? What is needed? So let's go back to the yoga teacher training example. So obviously, if I want my students to be able to teach a yoga class, they need to work with their voice, right? They need to know the poses. They need to have cues. They need to know the poses and their cues. They need to understand the basics of anatomy. They need to understand the basics of physiology. They need to understand yoga philosophy, right? They need to understand the energetics of yoga poses, because that's a big part of the way that I teach. I teach about the chakras. I teach about the nadis, the meridians, the energy channels in the body. I teach with a lot of metaphor. So they need to have a basic understanding of the energy body. And I also need to talk about, how do I create my metaphors? I need to break down, right, the process. I need to break down step by step, what do they need to go through in order to achieve this? What are the different components, the cooperative components that go into achieving this result? So let's give another example of Sacred Business Codes, which is my 9-month program, which starts next week, in 2 weeks. This is, my goal for people, the results that I want them to achieve is feeling grounded in their business and having an income from their business, right? Feeling grounded and in love with their business and having a steady income, or feeling like they know how to create a steady income from their business. So in order to do this, I need for them to fall in love with their business. I need for them to feel the ins and outs of their business. I need them to connect with their business on multiple levels, right? They need to connect with it on a soul level, on a spiritual level. They need to connect with it on an emotional level, on a mental level, and on a physical level. So we have to go through, okay, how do we achieve that in all those places? I also need them to understand, how to do basic marketing, how to do basic community building, right? How to guide spaces, how to guide meditations, how to talk about themselves, how to talk about what they're doing, what they're all about, how to understand, their why, their mission behind this, et cetera, et cetera. So then I have these big picture goals, right? I have these big picture things that I need them to do. So I'll make a list. So it depends on whether you're a person who is very much kind of with your hands, like you want to do things with your hands, or you're more digital. So for me, I'm very much like to do things with my hands. I want to make a map. I want to have visuals of things. Some people prefer to have like spreadsheets. So it depends on, what your preference is. But for me, I'll basically create a huge map of all of those things, all of those results that I want people to achieve, all of the ways in which they need to get to the results. And I'll create a big map. And then each of those major topics, I'll break them down into smaller topics. So now I have a map of all the different things that my students or my clients need to know in order to achieve the results that I want them to achieve. And then I have subtopics underneath that. And now I have the big picture, I have details, and now I need to go into arranging these details in time. So how am I going to deliver this to them over time? Which means that I have to see how much time do I have and what is feasible to do in each of those allotted times. And then I need to sequence it and structure it. Fill in the details with the experiences that you want to give your students. Okay? So a big map, then break it down into details. Now fill in your timeline with the experiences that you want to give your students in order to achieve that result. Okay? Now we're going into the micro place of okay, now what do we do? With each session, now what do we do with each moment? So first of all, you want to understand that each student, each client will have a different method of learning, will have a different way in which they are able to absorb information in the most efficient way possible. So there's a few different methods of learning. You have visual learners. These are people that need to see things in order to really program it into their head, right? So for these kind of people, video will be really good, and images will be really good. You have people that are more of audio learners. They need to hear things. They need to have things repeated to them over and over into their ears. So in this case, audio files would be good. And also video where you're speaking. Some people really, learn better when they actually write it out. And actually most people will learn a little bit better when they do write things out. So this is where journaling prompts are good, right? Workbooks are really good where you can have people fill in the blanks or reflect on what they just learned by writing. You have audio, visual, and then you have also tactile learners. So people that need to feel things in their body. They need to hold things. They need to touch things. So this is where embodiment practices will be really important. This is where more hands-on exercises will be more important. So you want to make sure that in this micro creation of your curriculum, when you get down to the details, to the nitty gritty, that you have available to the students all the different kinds of learning so that they can learn the same topic in the way that is most efficient for them, right? Audio, visual, tactile, and writing is also tactile, right? It's a way that you can, your heart meridian is connected to the palm of your hand. And when you write things, you're connecting it into your heart. You're downloading it into your heart. So having your students write things is really nice. And it's better than typing in terms of the heart meridian and the hand. So you're filling in the details with experiences that you want to give your students in order to help them learn and integrate the information, to help them feel like they have a certain level of mastery and empowerment over this information, inspiring them and empowering them to then take that information and use it and share it with others. So what's also really important is that you're giving them the experience of actually using this this information or this skill that you're giving them. So in the yoga teacher trainings, it would be giving the students a lot of time to practice teaching to the other students. In sacred business codes, it would be giving the students time to actually talk with each other. And this is a really good way to take yourself working hard and kind of in the grind out of the equation, because you can actually like outsource your students to help your students, or outsource your clients to help your clients. So setting them up with something like sister chats, or letting them host your meetings sometimes, right? Giving them that practical practice to use the information that you're giving them and empower them to share it with others. And letting them teach a class in your training, or letting them guide a session, even if it's 10 minutes, even if it's half an hour, it's going to empower them so much more to be able to then go and actually use the information you're giving in their business or in their life. So you want to make sure that you're giving them the experience and you're giving them that trust, and you're giving them, and this is something that I've gotten feedback about my trainings in, is that I really, I don't try to over explain things to my students. I don't try to take over. I really give a lot of space for my students to teach me. Yeah, like I open up my teacher's hat and I put on the student's hat for a moment so that I can actually learn and absorb information from my students, which is actually amazing. As a teacher and as a guide, as a coach, as a mentor, you can learn a lot from your students. You can every curriculum that you create is actually an initiation for you. First and foremost, it's an initiation for you. You're going to be probably getting the most out of that if you really open yourself up to it. If you're too much in your ego and you don't allow yourself that beginner's mind state, then you might not learn that much, right? But if you allow yourself to really open up to learn and absorb information from your students, then your curriculum is going to be the biggest initiation and an up level for you. So the other thing I want to say is that you want to also have your curriculum support the lifestyle that you're teaching, or the lifestyle that you'd need your people. So say you're teaching, energy work, you're teaching Reiki or some kind of energy healing, then you're going to want to know, you probably already know, how people can keep their energy body in the most healthy state. So you want to set up your sessions so that you're supporting your students in keeping a healthy energy body, right? Which means that if you have a 3-hour session, you need to put a break in the middle. If you have a 3-hour session, half the session should be at least standing up or moving your body, right? You don't want to if you're teaching energy work, then you don't want to make your students sit still for 3 hours, because you know that that's not good for their energy, right? So factoring in kind of those concepts, that the learning is so multi-layered, that you have the layer of like what you're saying is like the top layer, right? The layer of how you're saying it is the next layer, and how you're saying it could be like audio, visual, writing, and the tone of your voice, the way you communicate, the way you look, the body language that you use. And so you have what you're saying, how you're saying it, and then kind of how you're delivering it. What's the structure of the time that you're doing? And an interesting kind of deeper level of that is, for example, in sacred business codes, one of my goals for my people is that they start to synchronize their business with the natural cycles of the sun and the moon, and especially the moon, because I work with women and I'm interested in empowering women to unite their business with their moon cycle. And yes, I teach a small workshop on that. I teach, a module about divine feminine leadership. And one of the trainings in that module is around your moon cycle and how to match up your business with your moon cycle. But what if I also say, like, the whole course, the whole 9 months is actually, we're going to be in tune with the moon. The whole 9 months we meet on the new moon and the full moon. The whole 9 months I'm tuning in. Every time we have a call, I'm asking, okay, where are you at on your cycle? Right? So that it's something that I start to program into their subconscious. Like, they start getting used to that as a reality, which is much more powerful than simply just, giving information about a subject. Okay? So your curriculum is a multidimensional, multi-layered experience that has so many levels of teachings, and that you actually have the opportunity to tap into people's subconscious with not only what you're saying, but with the way that you structure and do things. Okay? So that's really powerful and has really been a game changer for me. So, what else did I want to say about that? My throat is a little bit dry. Okay. So finally, what I want to touch on in this workshop, which I'm really, interested to see, what you got from this, if you're live or on the replay, what is going on for you, what are your questions. I'm super open to answering any questions that you have about creating curriculum, so let me know if you have any questions. So another important factor in creating powerful curriculum is the arc of learning. Okay, the arc of an experience. So this goes everywhere from a yoga class to a retreat to a full-blown, 1-year program, and everywhere in between. That 4-year program, is that we have the arc. So the arc is like this, right? It starts building up, going up in intensity, going up in depth, going up in, energy, up, and then it hits a peak, and the peak happens, so this is the beginning, this is the end, this is the beginning, this is the end, the peak will happen somewhere here. So it's not right in the middle, it's a little bit towards the end, right? So it goes, you're building up, you're building up, you're building up, you get to this peak, and then you start coming down, and you finish in the down. And I say in the yoga classes that I want my students to actually take them lower than where they started in energy, not because I want them to be tired, because I want them to be relaxed, right? I want them to feel grounded in what we just did. You don't ever want to leave students or clients or participants here. You can't leave them at the top of the peak, I've made that mistake before firsthand, right? Letting the last workshop in a retreat be something really intense that's like blasting them open. Yeah, that's not what you want. You want the intense blasting open workshops in a retreat to be in the middle, to be towards the end of the middle. And then you need to bring them down from there with something really nourishing. So in a retreat, something that might be really intense would be like, inner child work, or, the mother lineage healing, or ancestral healing, something that's like bringing up trauma, or bringing up like old hurts and pains that we need to release. And it's a good thing. It's a nourishing thing to bring up those pains, especially in a nourishing and held space, right? We need that. We need these nourishing and held spaces in order for us to clear our blockages, our traumas, so that we are, complete and whole energy bodies, so that we can then show up and serve the world from a place of a healed place. That's why we create curriculum, is to encourage healing, to encourage release, to encourage people to show their true colors and cry and scream and let go, and you get to decide how much you want them to let go, right? It's not like when you have a retreat, it's like, okay, everybody just release all their stuff. And this was something that I had to learn as well. Like, I was under the impression that when I was holding retreats, like, everything was welcome, right? And it's true. Everything is welcome, and come as you are. But this is not the space to like open up, really, really dark and deep wounds. And because that's not what I'm personally ready for. So it's really, we need to understand that when we are guiding experiences, we have the power. Not that we have the power over people, but that we have the power to decide. We are the focalizers. We are the ones that decide where does the energy get focused. And we also sometimes, as leaders and facilitators, need to put up those boundaries and say like, hey, this isn't the time for that. If you need to really release some deep trauma, like I suggest you see a one-on-one therapist, or I suggest, this specific experience for you. So just to draw the boundaries there. But at the same time, we do want to create retreats, curriculums, in order to allow people to have those experiences where they can cry, they can let go, they can be held by in being weak or being sad or whatever it is. But we don't want that experience to be right at the end of the retreat. And we don't want that experience to be right at the beginning either. We want that experience to be around the end of the middle. So if you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday retreat, everybody leaves her home on Saturday, then Friday night, Friday evening will be the time for the intensity, Friday afternoon. And then after that intensity, you bring them back nourished, loved, give them time to process, give them time to integrate. So this is also why, we also have done, the Red Tent Tribe has also done, one night retreats or even one evening sweat lodges. And the sweat lodges are really powerful experiences, but we found that by having the 2 nights, we really have a space for integration, that we can give a powerful, transformative experience and have time and space after for integration. And this is really important. Integration can be arts and crafts. It can be sharing circles. It can be really the time for soul to come through. So one of the biggest mistakes that I've made in creating retreats and curriculums is trying to pack too much value into it. And that's a very noble mistake. Like, I want to bring my people value. I want to give them, everything I got. And the truth is that it's really not necessary, and it's also can be inhibiting. Because you gotta leave room for soul. You gotta leave room for each person's inner wisdom and each person's inner process. And by having workshop after workshop after workshop, slowly the participants are going to get less and less out of each workshop because they haven't had time to integrate. They haven't had time for their own soul and their own process to come through. So this is where sharing circles can be really powerful. And I know that a retreat that I just went to in the Azores Islands in Portugal, some of the most powerful moments were the moments that were not planned by the facilitator. And they were the moments of the sharing circles. right? Where we got a chance to hear each other, to reflect on our own experiences and then hear each other's experience. So when you're planning curriculum, plan in a lot of time for soul. And this is a time where it's less about planning the curriculum and more about working with your own energy field so that you can trust yourself. So working with trusting yourself to hold space, trusting yourself to not have a plan and still deliver a really positive and uplifting or helpful experience. I really, really encourage this. And tomorrow I'm going to speak about how to, like, my secrets in making women's circles, successful and transformative women's circles. And I'm just going to like preview it with this secret of like, let it be a space for you to channel. Let it be a space for you to tune in to the moment and trust your intuition and allow whatever it is that's alive to arise. And yeah, sometimes we can make mistakes and sometimes it doesn't turn out like perfectly, but it never turns out perfectly, you know, and it always turns out perfectly. That's the thing, right? So allow room for your soul. Allow room for spirit to come through. Because when you plan things too much, spirit has no room. Like, spirit can be with you as you plan, right? But things change in the moment. And depending on who's with you, you know, you can't tell in the moment when you're creating your curriculum who's exactly going to be there and what they're going to be going through in the moment when you're delivering that curriculum. So less is more. Taking out things so that you don't overpack the space and the time, so that there's a lot of time for soul. And that also means that you take the pressure off of yourself to provide and give and provide and give, but you more focus your energy on extracting the wisdom out of your participants, right? Extracting the questions out of them, extracting, you know, the desires, like what is it that they really want to learn? And you don't necessarily need to ask them that because you do want to be in charge, you do want to have like a plan. But by picking up on their body language, by picking up on the subtle things that they might say, and by directly asking them, you know, what is it that you're interested in? What are your questions? What do you want to learn? Then you can let go of a lot of that like mental space that you need to hold on to and really let the process be dictated by the energy that's alive in the moment. And this is super magical. I had one client, I had many clients like this actually, who have, you know, they're giving workshops and they're spending hours planning a 1-hour workshop. And this is just the old way of doing things, ladies. Like, we don't need to do it like that anymore. You don't need to spend 3 hours planning for a 1-hour workshop. You just don't. And if you do, then you're teaching about the wrong thing. Because you get it. So trust yourself more. And yes, plan, but planning doesn't make you better. Planning makes you more a know-it-all. Okay. So conclusions here being, I don't know if who's watching or, you know, I didn't really get any comments today, but that's okay. Maybe if you watch on the replay, you'll let me know what it is that you're creating. What is your human design? Where are you tuning in from? And what are your questions about curriculum creation? Basically, my final notes are that the world needs you. And the world needs you to hold transformational spaces. Your soul needs you to do that because your soul came here on a mission to make a difference. Your soul came here to write your story. And when you write your story, you write it with your tribe. You write it with your people. And your people need you. And whether you're, creating a curriculum all by yourself, or you're collaborating with other women or men to create curriculum, it's all beautiful and it's all good. I do recommend, having your own thing as well as having collaborations. I think both are good and important and not one or the other. And that I hope that you feel inspired and ready to start creating, and that you feel empowered and protected, that, it is about trial and error. We don't do it perfectly on the first round, and we can't. And you'll make mistakes, and you'll have, not an accurate, you'll have stuff that's not accurate, and that's okay. That's really okay. We need to practice a lot of self-love, a lot of self-forgiveness, and a lot of readiness to learn, right? Dropping our ego and saying, great, I'm here to learn. I'm here to grow. I'm creating this curriculum because I know that I need to for my soul, and I know that there's souls out there that are wanting to learn from me. But I'm also here to just take a ride and absorb as much as I can so that I can just keep getting better and better. Okay? Take nice deep breaths, take really good care of your energy body, and have fun brainstorming and planning. And if you have any questions from here, then please let me know. And if you want to really dive deep into creating your curriculums, into building your communities around your message, around really understanding what your message and what your mission is in this lifetime, then Sacred Business Codes is an incredible deep dive journey into building the curriculum around your business, building the curriculum around your life, holding sacred spaces for yourself and for others, and really gathering together as a tribe of women who are in business. And so we can uplift each other and we can support each other and encourage each other. And through that, we become so much more powerful. So if you're ready to step into the powerful version of yourself in 2022, then check out Sacred Business Codes. I'll drop the link here. It's ashleysunshine.com/SBC2022. And on there's also an application. So if you're interested, you can fill out the application. We can have a totally non-obligatory call where I can answer your questions. I'll also coach you in that call so that you can get a feeling for how I would coach you, so that you understand more of what's going to be happening in the program. And for now, I'm sending you so much love and a lot of hugs and many blessings for your courageous soul mission here on planet Earth. And may we co-create heaven on earth every single day, including today. Mwah. Big love. Bye.